But you know what? Let's talk about something that is a little bit fun. Okay? Let's talk about the balance patch, because we can go over all of that now. We've got the notes up on the wiki. Let me just go ahead and get some of this, some of this tea. Need to drink a bit of tea. We can get down to business, guys. Okay, we can get to business, right? Boom, boom. Game updates. Yes, okay. We're going to go all the way from the top, guys. All the way from the top. We're going to talk about everything. Okay? From the top. World vs. World is an... Oh, okay, fine. You know what? We're going to go from the bottom then, okay? Because Big L is a hard warrior main, we're going to start with Berserker, because that's fun. Berserker is fun as well. Let's go all the way to the bottom. Warrior. Warrior, warrior, warrior. In this update, the Warrior's Berserker Elite specialization is seeing a drastic overhaul. The goal of these changes is to give the specialization more compelling and thematic core gameplay that better distinguishes it from base warrior and spellbreaker gameplay. To this end, the first major change is that we're moving the Berserk mode activation to the F1 slot and removing the F2 slot entirely. In order to use primal bursts, a Berserker must now activate Berserk mode first, removing access to normal warrior bursts and putting primal bursts behind Berserk mode. Focuses the specialization around its unique mechanic. Additionally, Berserk mode itself has been changed and will grant power and condition damage bonuses in exchange for a toughness penalty. We're doing this in order to solidify the Berserker's identity as a powerful but fragile combatant. Those willing to take the risks should find higher damage output than other, more durable warrior options. Another major change is in how Berserk mode is managed. Previously, it was a limited time mode with a set duration. This update changes the primary functionality of rage skills to extend Berserk mode duration, rather than granting adrenaline. While they are still useful skills outside Berserk mode, proper use while in Berserk mode can dramatically extend the damage window to use primal bursts. Finally, we're making some changes to several Berserker traits and primal burst skills in order to allow power Berserker builds to exist alongside the more popular condition damage variant. Okay? So let's see. What are they trying to do here? Well, this is very clearly a heavy flavor change, but also a bit of a purity of purpose change. They still want Condi Warrior to be around, probably as Banner Slave, I imagine him. I think Condition Warrior will be Banner Slave. But will you even play Discipline? That's a big question, actually. I'm very curious to see how this is going to go in raids. I think this may end up being quite a hefty nerf to Condition Warrior in PvE, maybe, because of how the rotation was before. Although, then again, you can stay in Berserk for a lot longer, so you can get a lot more Scorched Earths in now, I guess, right? You can keep that going by extending it. But if you want to extend it, you'll end up sacrificing potentially banners. So I think this actually might be quite an elegant way to tone down Condi Warrior a little bit, perhaps, actually. In terms of its DPS output, while still keeping the banners up there. 'Cause Warrior... Okay, I'm just going to preface this, guys, with a very important point. Somewhere on the forums, and maybe on Reddit as well, someone will be saying that Warrior is now bad in raids. Okay? A Warrior is dead. Ignore those people. Okay? Warrior is still incredibly insane. Okay? If anyone says that, they have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. Okay? They probably believe in the flat earth. Saying like that. That's what they probably think, guys. Okay? That's what happens. Yeah. And we're also going to see Power Berserker now. So, Nike speculated, he's of course Warrior main, speculated that Power Berserker might not actually see that much play, but it will certainly be quite a strong ability. Quite a strong specialization to play. Power Berserker. And that will be as a full DPS spec, it seems. It will not be a Banner Slave Warrior, because you're going to want to take rage skills, right, to extend out your Berserk, so you can keep Berserking for as long as possible, right? So, instead of having Power Berserker with banners, right, the Power Warrior with banners will be Core Warrior, and then there'll be this full DPS spec, right? Full DPS Berserker will be without banners and perhaps power, right? And we'll see how strong that actually is. I imagine it will be with Axe main hand, now that they've fixed how Decapitate works. Decapitate now works with quickness as well, and really funny, by the way, because I actually logged in, to have a play around with some of this stuff, and it turns out that if you land a Decapitate, guys, it actually refreshes the cooldown, right? So you actually have no cooldown on Decapitate if you land it. Okay, so if we go in Berserk now, we've got it's very different, right? We've got a lot, you know, a lot of cool stuff here. But if we go in Berserk, right? Now, look at Decapitate. Gather your strength into a powerful attack. If it hits, gain might and recharge this skill. So in other words, if we land this, we can immediately use it again. As soon as we get adrenaline, we can instantly use Decapitate again, right? Like, we can immediately go again. So, and the way it works is it's kind of how we speculate. It's like a conal attack. This is a conal attack, so quite powerful. I mean, this could even, you know, this sort of thing might even see some play in PvP, to be honest. Like Axe Berserker, maybe like Axe Shield Greatsword. I can definitely see being quite, as certainly as some kind of fun meme build, right? Where you just try and double decapitate people, maybe with the Berserker heal. Play very much a glass cannon spec. I think that's what they were going for. So I think ArenaNet has definitely achieved what what they wanted here. So what I can imagine is you would take, instead of taking healing in it, you just run almost like a necro. Like you rely on your team to support you, right? That's what's going to go down. So instead of being a sustaining build with healing signet and using defensives here, maybe you just run some fucking like crazy one-shot build, right? With like Signet of Fury, insta get in Berserk, right? So you can use Signet of Fury to immediately get. So for example, if we could do something like this, right? If we're on the light golem, what you could do is you could let's get in combat, right? So it doesn't get weird. So you could you would probably want Rampage, right? Not Headbutt. I just use that for adrenaline, right? But what you could do is you go Signet of Fury, and then bam, then you go insta decap. Well, okay, well actually, never mind. I actually one-shot him there. But yeah, so I can. Okay, there you go then, right? But you could do that twice, right? You could then immediately use Blood Reckoning to gain your adrenaline back, and then just go again. The changes to Berserker are really flavorsome. It is going to be risky. When you're so if we just see the toughness thing here as well. So when you're in Berserk now, you lose toughness, right? So I'm in Demolisher Amulet right now. So if I go in Berserk, my armor is 2.7k. If I go in Berserk, I lose 300 toughness, and then I'm down to 2.4k armor. So let's see, what that's equivalent to a bit over 10% damage increase taken. I want to say around 15%, maybe a little more like 13% or something like that. Someone can crunch the numbers. So, well, that's with Demolisher, right? It would be more severe if I was saying Marauder or something like that, right? It's worth noting, right, with regards to that, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it is not going to be the easiest thing to survive on, and that might hold it back a little bit. You aren't ranged, you are a melee fighter, right? You're not like a Reaper, you don't have Death Shroud, right? You can't survive with that. You're not a Necro, you can't kite around and use your ranged abilities to do that stuff. So, again, it's very glass cannon-y. Definitely cool, though, right? I think the changes here are a lot of fun and really exciting, a lot of fun to play with, actually. And, well, there you go. We'll just kind of briefly go over the changes. We've kind of discussed them mostly here, right? And I think it will definitely see some play in PvE. Whether it will see play in PvP, I mean, it will definitely see some like fun changes, right? It will see some fun play, but whether it will be see a lot of competitive play, it's really hard to say. But yeah, a lot of these changes are just kind of flavor, right? Like Wild Blow, Sundering Leap, Outrage, Blood Reckoning, it extends out your Berserk, right? Shattering Blow as well. Headbutt also extends it out as well. Now, the traits have been changed a little bit here as well, so we're going to go over the traits now. We'll go over these traits. So, Dead or Alive is the trait that basically, what it does is, I will try and actually get it on the screen as well, so we can have a look at that at the same time. I'll just shrink this down a little bit. So, what it does is, it means when you get when you fatal damage in Berserk mode, you lose Berserk, but you get healed by 5k. So it's like a second life in a way, long cooldown. But now, passively, it's going to give you 10% extra healing as well, right? And that is quite a powerful ability, because suddenly all the support on you is going to be 10% better, right? So quite a good trait. Right off the bat. Like we'll probably see maybe a little bit of action here. It does compete with the Condi one, which you're not really going to need. The only one it could potentially compete with is Blood Reaction for extra ferocity, like another 14% ferocity. And maybe this is something that you might see. The Blood Reaction, you'll probably see also like the Gunflame, right? The Gunflame Warrior, where you try and one-shot people with mega crit chance, because 14% of your precision as ferocity is a lot, actually. That's a lot of extra damage. And with the extra 300 power you get from Fatal Frenzy, damn, dude. And at the same time, you're also taking Signet of Fury on the rifle build. Maybe Signet of Might as well for like even more power. Well, you probably wouldn't do that, but you know, that's maybe a little greedy. But Signet of Fury, certainly. So you just have 360 extra ferocity. You got more ferocity from Blood Reaction. I don't know, you have Bloody Roar for 20% extra damage. Fatal Frenzy for 300 power. I don't know, dude. You could probably get like 20k gun flames or something, right? It's gonna be insane. Yeah, this is, I know, it's extra spicy. Yeah, you're gonna have Omega damage now, boys, okay? Omega damage, dude. Let's go. But yeah, this is some really cool changes to Berserker. I love what they've done with it. It will be fun to play around with, and it will bring back Power Berserker and PvE. And in a way, Berserker is supposed to be a fire-based class. It has torch as its weapon. But it also, you know, Berserker, when you think of Berserker, you think of a madman with an axe, right? Just going crazy. And I think that they've really brought that class fantasy here. In terms of balance, I think it's fine. I think removing all stability access from the class, maybe that's a little bit too far. I guess they want you to rely on maybe the defense trait line because they've made Berserk. What they've done is they've made Berserk a Tier 3 burst, so it will give you instant full adrenal health and defense. You can get the balance stance from defense, perhaps. You can have rousing resilience. It's a class about stun breaking, right, with outrage. So I think they want it to be less about stability, more about stun breaking. Because, of course, Eternal Champion is still going to give you stability when you stun break as well. So I think you have stuff like headbutt, you have balance stance, and you'll gain some stability from that. Rousing resilience for some sustain, and extra toughness as well to kind of counteract the the damage output that you receive because of Fatal Frenzy. So that's a pretty good thing there, in my opinion. Like, I think it's a really cool theme. And one thing about the regeneration thing is that Berserker, this is something that is very common. A Berserker is often a class that actually has really strong regeneration, right? They are fueled by the battle, right? They are unarmored lunatics, right, who kind of feed on the spirit of battle. You see this, I mean, for example, stuff like Olaf in League of Legends, right, or trolls in World of Warcraft, in the Warcraft universe, right? Like, so I think that also plays into that theme as well of, you know, kind of being fueled by the rage of battle in a way. So a little bit of a role play element there. It's some really good role play good role play elements coming out of out of Guild Wars 2 there, boys. So, I don't know, that's fun. So, but yeah, design-wise, great. To be honest, and looking at some of the stuff, it might even see some play. Like, maybe not best in slot, but I can definitely see players getting away with this. Now, one thing I would say that this is quite a hefty nerf for is actually PvE, because not only you won't be able to get away with discipline as much, it is counteracted by you get some more condition damage, obviously, but what you lose is utility as well. Suddenly you don't have access to your regular bursts on Warrior anymore. So you don't have the Immobilize, right? You don't have the regular Flurry. So you can't Immobilize anymore, which kind of sucks. And yeah, and you get, you know, less adrenaline as well for PvE as well. So, you know, you kind of do get punished a little bit there in raids. But other than that, I think Warrior is the Berserker rework has happened, and it's definitely more in line with what it should be. One thing I've got to say, guys, why isn't this skill nerfed? Why is Rampage not nerfed? Okay, what's going on with that? 72-second cooldown, Mega CC, basically unkillable as well. Can just run around all over the place. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. You know, that's good. That's good. Yeah, oh, fantastic. So, you know, it's not the maybe they shouldn't have left that in the game, but I'm sure it was an oversight. Okay. Alrighty, let's move up to Thief. So Thief, they got a little bit. Not a lot of changes to Thief really. Our focus on the Thief in this update has been towards Daredevil, its traits, and the trade-off that it was inherently built without. Daredevil traits have been reworked to focus on 3 categories: choosing your defense in the Adept tier, choosing your damage in the Master tier, and choosing your dodge maneuver in the Grandmaster tier. With this update, we're adding a trade-off to the profession skill that keeps the theme of a melee-oriented specialization. And, well, they kind of have done that, to be fair. So I'm just going to log on to my Thief here, so we can have a look at some of this stuff, because I'm sure all the thieves are going to be. I bet they're just really happy about this, dude. I bet they are joyous. I can just tell. I can see it already. Okay. Repeater initiative. So this is gonna be fun, dude. Okay, look, I'm actually on pistol daggers is the last thing we played around with, right? But check how many repeaters we can do now. Check the chat out. Look. Let's see how hard can we spam repeater onto this golem now. Like, ArenaNet want this thing to be a thing, right? They really want this to be a thing. All right, here we go. Go, repeater, go! Look at them go. There's so many. Okay, we actually need haste. We don't have enough time to even spam it hard enough. Yeah, let's see, guys. How many unloads can we get? Okay, prepare yourselves. Go. Look at that. I don't think we even have enough. We don't even have enough initiative to get it done. That's kind of funny. Is this good? I don't know. I think Garkos will play this, right? Garkos will play this fucking build. But Gunslinger Thief, boys.
Pistol Decker Kundi Thief. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, his Jumper the Dodge Dog is going to be back. But yeah, it's fun, actually. You don't even have enough time to spam repeater because of how much initiative it doesn't cost. So, yeah, I don't know. Is that really going to be good? I mean, probably not. There's no way this could be good in raids, right? There's just no way. I mean, I kind of wish it was because I think it would be hilarious to see people like constantly teleporting away and having to like maybe steal back in. But there's no way this is good. I don't think. I mean, Condy Thief isn't really particularly strong anyway, as it stands right now. But still, it is what it is, right? I mean, that's kind of it's a fun change. It's a fun change, and I think that's what it's about. In a way, I'm not sure if I like this. I would like this more if a lot of the issues with the game's balance were resolved first, though. I love flavor changes. I think class flavor is so important to a game. But you know what I think is more important? Actual balance. And I don't know. I think that PvP and WoW would have a lot of problems, right? A lot of fucking problems, dude. A lot of fucking problems. But anyway, so Staff Strike and Staff Bash. They just reduced the damage on the staff auto attack a bit. Yeah, there you go. I think... now, someone in chat, you guys have probably already crunched the numbers. Nike said that this turns out that it doesn't matter that much in raids because the other traits are actually a buff. So it doesn't matter, but I don't know if that's true or not. Of course, we haven't played around with it. So we'll see if it's a buff or a nerf. Let's find out. It's a nerf overall. Okay, 240 power trait is extreme. You get some modifiers back the other way, though, right? But anyway, we'll talk about that anyway. Okay, so apparently there's a nerf to Staff Thief. To be fair, Staff Thief probably deserved it. It was really, really, really strong. It was really, really strong indeed. And it was just auto-attacking, basically. So I don't mind nerfing it. It was already a very strong... But it's still a great build. And I think, to be honest, I think the utility that Thief provided was maybe a little bit too strong for how much damage it put out as well. Bear in mind, it has the Ecto, right? It has Basilisk Venom. It has stuff like that. It has good CC on it as well. It has utility, in addition to some really, really nice damage. So I think that's fine. I think Thief is still going to be perfectly okay in PvE. For World versus World and PvP, like this change probably isn't that bothersome, really. That's not where most of your damage is coming from on Thief, right? So, not a problem there, I think. So let's see. Now let's get into these traits. We'll have them up here on the left. Physical Supremacy, which is this main one here. Gain access to physical skills. Your maximum endurance threshold is increased while Steel is replaced with Swipe. So, what this means is that you gain an extra endurance bar, which is being a Daredevil. Okay? And you get Swipe instead of Steel. So Swipe is 600 range. It's reduced in range. Okay? But it's unblockable as a payoff, right? It is unblockable. I'll tell you what, let's remove Trickery so we can see it kind of unbuffed a little bit. Let's make it, let's get rid of Mug as well so we can just see... Oh, no. Oh, that's Trickery again. Hang on. Acrobatics. Okay, there we go. So we can just see it in its natural form. There you go. Swipe. So... unblockable is good, right? This will allow you to, say, interrupt a warrior shield block or a guardian shelter heal or something like that. Or say a revenant block. We was using with staff block, anything like that, right? Okay. Now this doesn't do anything against Aegis because it turns out that in in Trickery, this trait, Bountiful Theft, always steals Aegis, right? It always gets rid of Aegis for you. So it was already unblockable against Aegis, but this is a buff versus actual block abilities, right? Like, so if the warrior raises his shield, he thinks he's safe. He isn't safe now when you're on Daredevil, right? So that is a positive, right? Like that might help the thief take out a warrior. So if you're playing Dagger, Pistol, Daredevil, right? You just, boom, you get in there, and then you can like, really screw over that warrior. That warrior, he's running around in circles. He's, he's cutting around. He's shield blocking, okay? But then, bam! You can steal on him, shut that down. So that does have some application. Maybe the 600 range, though, guys. Range is very good, okay? And 600 range is a very heavy price to pay, right, for unblockable, right? That's a very heavy price to pay. Is that too much? I think there's definitely a really strong argument for that. Daredevil's been nerfed. Bear in mind, Daredevil does have stealth, so you can mitigate that by, kind of creeping up on someone, and then you can immediately steal on them, right? Like you can mitigate the range disadvantage by having stealth, right, and being able to get close, right, and then jump someone, right? So there is something to be said for that, of course, but I definitely think that the swipe, that may have been an over-nerf, perhaps a buff to 750, right, or 900 could be more applicable. I think a 300 range penalty, maybe not harsh enough, perhaps, or maybe, because I feel like, it's not that it's not harsh enough, it's just that, I feel that 900 range would not be distinct enough, if that makes any sense. So maybe add some extra buff to it as well, like make it better in another way. So maybe make it 750 range, but give it something extra as well. So maybe make, for example, buff this trait, Endurance Thief, maybe put that back to 50. So when you steal, you get 50 endurance, maybe even 75. Or what I think could be really cool, I'm not sure how ArenaNet would make this mechanic, would enjoy this mechanic, but what if it actually stole a dodge, right? So suppose the Endurance Thief was literally an Endurance Thief, okay? I think that might be a nice trade-off. So suppose you steal on someone, it actually steals, say, 25 or 50 endurance. I think stealing a whole dodge might be too brutal, actually. But but maybe if it stole 25 endurance and was still 600 range, that might be a fair enough trade-off, actually, because I do think that ArenaNet want to really make swipe distinct from steal, and I think putting it at 900 range doesn't actually make it distinct enough. So I would like to see a buff to swipe, right, rather than changing the range, just simply changing the range back, okay? Yeah, I mean, maybe that is a bit AIDS, right? But again, something like that. Maybe it could, let me see. It could have a shorter cooldown, right? Maybe it has a shorter cooldown. I know, say, instead of a 30-second cooldown, maybe make it a 20-second cooldown, right? That would be fucking cancer, actually. No, let's not do that. Oh, dear. Yeah, that will be... That will be fun. That will be like steal every like 15 seconds. Nice meme, dude. Oh, dude, in PvE, that would be so insane, actually. No, we can't do that. That would be insane. Good grief. Oh, okay, no, we can't do that. We'd have to split it. It would have to be longer in PvE than PvP, right? Like, we easy. We skill split, boys, right? We skill split it. But yeah. But overall, I kind of like the design of that, making it short range, more melee. So let's check out some of these other traits. So we've got a lot. So Daredevil got rejigged a lot, actually, right? So Marauder's Resilience, brand new trait. This it converts 7% of power to vitality while reducing incoming damage from foes within 360 range by 10%. So you are, of course, a melee spec. A lot of the time you're playing staff or dagger pistol, right? You are, you're going to be melee a lot of the time. When you're fighting, anyway. When you're under pressure, you're going to be melee. So this is obviously pretty good. And you gain extra vitality as well. So you play Marauder on Thief a lot. So let's, let's see how much extra health, if you took this trait, you would get. Let's see what you get. Now, all these traits that we see here in Daredevil are going to struggle a bit. So it's going to give us about 1k extra health. Okay, and it will also give you 10% damage reduction when you're in melee. All these traits are really going to struggle because of this trait, right? Brawler's Tenacity. And, of course, Escapist Fortitude is now a new trait as well. Gain health when you evade, and remove a condition when you evade an attack. This is kind of sad. It used to be a little bit baseline, right? This used to be a little bit baseline. But they got Weakening Strike Space, which is also pretty good, actually. This is a really strong trait. But the trouble with any other trait is that it's always going to have to compete with, having your channeled vigor cooldown reduced, right? Because this is a really, really good ability, and reducing the cooldown on channeled vigor is very good. Okay, a 16-second heal skill that also gives you endurance back, right? So if we use the heal skill, right, look at all that endurance you get back from using that, right? It's really good. It's very, very good ability. So reducing the cooldown on that is gonna, not doing that in exchange for 10% damage reduction and some extra health is going to be a bit of a tough sell. Escapist Fortitude as well. I mean, healing when you dodge is nice, but you know what's really nice? Fucking more dodges to spam really hard. You know, it's going to be pretty intense. I think it's really difficult to dislodge this trait, so I don't think any of these two. I think you'll still be seeing Brawler's Tenacity on Daredevil, especially with the staff build, because the staff build likes to play with Bandit's Defense as well, right? So you can reduce the core on that block as well. So, yeah, I think that this trait is still very, very good, and is going to see the play there. So let's move on to Weakening Strikes, which is the new adept. It used to be the healing component of Escapist Fortitude, right? This Weakening Strikes, Escapist Fortitude was just whenever it was a minor trait, right? And whenever you dodge, whenever you get a successful evade, you get some extra health, right? Boom. Okay. Right. Let's move on. So, your next attack after dodging causes weakness to foes struck. Weakened enemies deal less damage to you, and you deal more damage to them. Now, to be fair, that is very good, actually. That means you're going to have very high weakness uptime, and this is what they kind of want to make Daredevil in a way. They want to make it a bit of a 1v1 brawler spec. And bear in mind, guys, this is AoE as well. So suppose you're in a team fight, right? You can hit everyone with weakness, right? And it's AoE. You can have high uptime as well. And you take less damage from weakened foes, and you hit them harder as well. 7% damage on them, and 10% on you. So, and bear in mind, weakness already cuts their power damage very hard, and now you take even less from that. So this is a really powerful trait, right? Really, really powerful trait, especially for kind of, I guess, 1v1 situations. You dodge, you weaken them, then you can kind of attack them while they have weakness. They don't regenerate their dodges as fast, right? It's very good. Really powerful trait. So it's good to have that, to be fair. And very annoying. If you get plussed into something that you're not being able to really do anything about it because of the weakness, right? You can't really pressure nearly as well. You can't dodge as much. So, yeah, very, very good trait here. So this is, it feels good, man, to have that as a passive as well, to be honest. All right. So Escapist Absolution, that used to be this trait, but that's gone now. It's gone. It's over. Escapist, Staff Master. So it doesn't give you but previously Staff gave you 5% damage, and then 5% if you have a staff, right? So now it just gives you 240 power, right? It gives you 240 power instead, which is not as good as a 10% modifier, right? A 10% modifier was a lot better. So this is a nerf in PvE, but probably a buff in PvP. Recently, I think 240 power in PvP is probably better than a 10% modifier, I think. Difficult to say, though, honestly. 10% modifier is really good. Either way, this is more like a normalization change. There aren't that many modifier abilities on weapon skills. I think they want to make them all give you stats instead of giving you just a modifier. I think they find stats to be more interesting as well. But yeah, and to be honest, like, will it even compete with the next trait? Of course, Havoc Specialist. Damage is increased based on endurance that is missing. So, in other words, you can get a potential 15% modifier out of this, right? But the trouble with that is that you have to have, in order for this to be better than the staff trait, okay, previously was, you need to have no dodges available to you, right? Does it actually give you a little, does it give you a little button? No. So in other words, right now I've got 15% more damage, okay? Now I have 10% more damage. And then if I get my dodge back, 5% more damage, and then 0% more damage. So if you're in raids, right? If you're in raids, you need to spam your dodges really hard, which is obviously quite risky. I guess you do have Volt if you desperately need an evade. But in order to keep up your damage, you're now going to have to kind of spam really hard those dodges. If you've got full endurance, you're going to get punished for it. If you even have 1 bar of endurance, you're going to get punished for it. So that, ouch, for Thief there as well. So honestly, it might be a bit annoying. But I guess they really want to emphasize really using Bounding Dodger a lot to get damage, to connect that damage. And, well, you know, dodging a lot to get the weakness off right as well. That's kind of the flavor of the class there. So I assume that's what they're going for. And then Havoc, then we just talked about Havoc Mastery as well. So overall for Thief, I think Daredevil certainly, as it stands right now, bopped a little bit in PvP at least, right? That steel range is going to be quite annoying to deal with. 1200 range is really good, and 600 is considerably worse, right? That's a lot worse. Whenever you see a change, guys, to range, okay, always think, damn, that is a big change, right? Range is one of the most powerful things in games in general, right? And halving the range on an ability, you've always got to think really hard about that. So realistically, I don't think much actually changes for Thief. I imagine you're still going to be playing basically the same traits in Daredevil if you want to play Dagger Pistol. Maybe you play a slightly different variant. Well, actually, no, you probably wouldn't. If you want to play, I think, isn't that like a bound staff build? You probably just play the same, right? So I don't think anything has really changed. It's just a bit of a bop to this class, and a little nerf in PvE as well. Like you're going to suffer some damage loss, but I think that's okay. Thief is still very strong if you play it well, right? You can still play it correctly. But yeah, less mobility on Thief. We may see that be less popular in PvP, and perhaps SD Thief will be, well, it is already quite a dominant build. Like it's a very strong build, and we're going to see perhaps even more of it now. So there you go. Let's move on to the next class. We're going up. Oh, and now we're getting to the big stuff. Okay, now we're getting to the fun stuff. We get to the fun stuff now, boys. Revenant. Yes, feels good, man, indeed. Now, these are some of the coolest changes, to be honest, in this patch. The most interesting ones. Right. Okay. In the case of Revenant Elite specializations, we felt that Herald and Renegade didn't necessarily need trade-offs. Instead, we felt that the core Revenant was missing something. I think and this point here is really key. In fact, one of the things that was most remarked upon when Revenant even existed was that it felt incomplete without Herald, right? It felt really incomplete without Herald. So they're trying to bring that back, well, or rectify that now. Better late than never. To address this, we've added a new F2 skill that is only available when players aren't running an elite specialization that grants a boost to energy and a legend-specific effect. Heralds and Renegades won't have access to this skill as they have their own unique specialization F2 skills. This update also sees a large overhaul of Revenant healing builds through changes to the staff weapon and the salvation trait line. Revenant healing is heavily focused in legendary centaur stance and suffers greatly when the need to swap legends presents itself. We're leaning into the unique healing orb mechanic of the staff's weapon slot 1 sequence and spreading it around to other skills and traits. This should allow Revenants to have better healing to fill the gaps when they're not channeling Ventari. Salvation traits have been reworked to focus around more cohesive themes in order to better allow Revenant players to tailor their experience to the style of healer that they want to play. And that is in my mind, that's a very apt description, because I think that's exactly what they've done. Seriously, I mean, I couldn't have put it better myself, really. That's what they've tried to do, and that is what they have done, to be honest. I have nothing really to say. I mean, I think they've made some incredibly good changes to Ventari and the Salvation trait line. It's something that has been needed for an extremely long time. It's been probably the longest changes coming. Like, Ventari on release has always just not had something, right? It's always had incredibly bad boon access, which is obviously not helping its case, and now that's definitely been rectified. It's a lot better now in terms of boon access. You have access to Vigor now, as we'll see shortly. You can sustain your team using staff. Like, staff is more of a healing focused weapon now. You have a lot of AoE healing on the staff. The orbs are a lot stronger. The orbs are not just stronger, guys. They are way stronger. Way fucking stronger. Okay? And let's get into it, right? So the tablet, we're just going to get, there's some bug fixes here, right? A red glowing visual effect to enemies, so you know if you're going to get CC'd. Updated description skills to refer to this as healing fragments. Tooltips. True nature, so it wasn't considered a legendary dragon stance, so in other words, it wouldn't get extended when you popped it. Okay. Drop the hammer, bug fix. Now, Ancient Echo. Let's do Ancient Echo first, actually. Let's just get into that. I want to see what the tooltip looks like as well, so let's just get base rev. So, here we go, guys. Ancient Echo. So, on our base rev, it's a 20-second cooldown, So quite short, to be fair. And it gives you 4 seconds of Alacrity, 3 seconds of Resistance in Malix, okay, 3 seconds of Rite of the Great Dwarf in Dwarf, and 5 seconds of Unblockable. It's only 2 stacks, though, in Shira. It does have a cast time as well. What's that cast time like? Oh, that is quite a long cast time, actually. Maybe they should shorten that a little bit. But still, not that it doesn't stun break it, and it gives you energy as well. So you get 25 energy. So in other words, you can spam your abilities really hard. You can have a really, really high uptime on stuff like Rite of the Great Dwarf. KK Engineer, sub, yes. Prime, 28 months, boom, nice. Okay? So, I mean, I don't know. In a way, this is a symbolic change. I don't think this is good. I don't think Core Rev is going to see play. Maybe if you've purchased Path of Fire and you want to play Revenant in PvP, I think this will definitely help. I think Valen has experimented with Core Rev a bit, and you play Shiro Jalis, and it seems to be not that awful. And now it's just going to be, you're a bit tankier, right? You can have more Dwarf, right? You can be Dwarfier. You can actually chain this here. Let's see how long we can chain this. So then we use our F2 to get another 3 seconds. Then we use it again. And we would have regenerated a bit more energy. Then you can actually, you're going to get really high uptime of like dwarf damage reduction, right? We can just keep using that. And, you know, like, we just have like really high uptime of 50% damage reduction on our dwarf to allies as well, to be fair, actually. And of course, I think what you do in dwarf in core is just use the hammers a lot. So you've got damage reduction on the hammers. You can refresh that, right, with the energy. Ancient Echo, you can be going crazy, spitting those hammer around, cleaving people down, and, you know, in Shiro, you can go even more damage, right? You know, Permalacry with Core Rev, you use F2 and Ventari skill 2, fucking pog, dude. Holy shit. What have we got going on here? So, Core Rev, I don't think this ability is particularly strong enough to make Core Rev, like, oh shit, dude, we're gonna play Core Rev now. Oh, man. If it was AoE, now we're talking, actually. Like, if that was AoE, right, of the Great Dwarf, so almost like a duplicate of this ability, or if it was AoE resistance, okay. Right, then we might be able to talk about something, right? But especially with a cooldown that short as well, right? Honestly, I really don't want to bash this change. I love it. I actually think it's very flavoursome, very cool. I love that it gives Right the Great Dwarf. I'm a really big fan of Jalis in World vs. World in particular. But if there was, like, what this needs is Invocation to be a bit more like the Illusions trait line for Mesmer, I think, right? What I think this needs to do is interact. Maybe Invocation needs a full rework, okay? And some of these traits interact with the unique profession mechanic, right, of each of each class, right? So, for example, if you have Invocation and Core Rev, it buffs Ancient Echo, right, and it makes this stronger. You can take some traits to make this stronger, right? If you take Herald, and we need to move Invocation here. Let's move Invocation there. If you take Herald here, it makes it can make your Facet of Nature stronger, right, or something like that, right? Okay, something like that can make that a bit better. If you take Invocation and Renegade, maybe it makes these abilities a bit better as well. Yeah, I don't know, but I guess that wouldn't really work, because some stuff interacts with anyway, like Righteous Rebel gets buffed within Renegade. Of course, there's True Nature gets buffed within Herald as well, but I don't know, I think Core Rev, maybe it doesn't have to be good, of course, right? But, you know, it would be nice if it saw some play in some game mode, right? Okay, next. Healing Orbs. Now, this change is... wow. Wowzer. Lads, this is an interesting one. So, Healing Orbs, as you guys may be aware, it's something that you get from auto-attacking and stuff, and some abilities in Ventari give it as well. Okay? So, let's just see how many orbs we get. Let's auto-attack this golem with quickness, right? Here we go. Wait. Oh, there we go. There they are. So you can see them spawning. Now, so you get a lot of these, right? This is quite a lot of AoE healing, right? Now, what they've done here, guys, is they've made the healing orbs AoE, and they've made them a little bit bigger so you can see them a bit better. They heal 5 allies in a small radius of 120, so not a big radius, to be fair. For reference, 120 radius, let's see what that actually is. 120 is actually a bit less than the tablet, right? So, the healing AoE is going to be, suppose it's going to be around that orb. It's going to be a little bit less than that. About 2/3 of that. So not big, but not tiny either, right? Not completely useless. You'll get AoE healing from that. You will. Okay? And it activates even if you're at full health. So in other words, if I pick up... So what you can do, guys, and I think this is what you will end doing, this will be almost like a little game. If you're playing Heal Rev, the game will be running around the boss, right? picking up the healing orbs to heal your team, so your team DPSs. So you're going to... It's going to be like Draven in League, actually. Your game, right, is going to be running around the boss, picking up these orbs to heal your team. Okay? Because obviously you don't want your team to have to move, right, to heal themselves, right? So you run around in circles, picking the orbs up, going crazy, right? I know it sounds a bit weird, but that's probably what's going to happen. But let's get into it now, okay? They also heal more. I don't know how much they heal. I think we can actually find out, though. I believe there's a salvation trick. Let's have a look at this. I believe... Yeah, there we go. So a healing orb. I am in Harrier gear right now. And let's just use our healing food. Harrier gear makes the orbs heal for 400. Okay? In a 120 AoE... Okay, and it's 5 targets. So each orb is 2,000 health. But bear in mind, that's going to be affected, guys, by healing modifiers. And Revenants can have easily over 50%. Like, we're talking 60%, 70%. So realistically, that's more like 700 healing. AoE, okay, very frequently. As you can see, we have a lot of these things. There's a lot of these orbs, right? You can see them. Look at them go crazy. There's loads of them, right? So right off the bat, that's quite good if you can pick them up as well. And allies might just randomly run over them, right? Because there's going to be loads. Look at them all. Look at them all go. But some other stuff happens as well. So, Mendess Rebuke. They changed Staff 2. It's no longer a chain skill. It's a single-use skill now. And it's a bit of a purity of purpose meme. It doesn't have this massive secondary swipe you can do. So this is a nerf in PvP, right? In particular. This is a nerf in PvP because that second attack was actually a lot of damage. It was very strong. It could crit 5k, 6k. So, but now, it's purity of purpose. Okay? And it heals more if an enemy is struck. And it heals for... 50% more if you hit an enemy, and it's 900 in full Harry. So healing is a bit crap, but it's every 5 seconds, so it's to be expected. And it's an AoE heal. So let's just use that ability. And then after a delay, can you see that little effect there that plays there? That's the heal. Like, when that goes through, that heals, right? Bam, then it heals, I think. It's got a little delay, and then it heals. So... pretty good, to be honest. It's 5 allied targets as well, and you can do that every 5 seconds. So, to be honest, that's really good sustain if you're in melee with your team, right? That's really good sustain, because you're going to be healing for potentially over 1.5k, 1.7k with this, with all the modifiers. So, wow, really, really strong there, to be honest. I even think it might see... I can when it's a bit more... In PvP, I think it might even see some experimentation, actually, because... of the you're a lot tankier now, and we'll see why later, okay? So, overall, I kind of like this change, to be honest, to Mendess Rebuke. This is, I think it's purity of purpose, and it helps Staff out doing what it's supposed to do. And Staff is supposed to be a healing weapon, ultimately, right? Or maybe a little bit of a hybrid. I think it is still hybrid. You have Staff 5. It does still do fairly high damage as well. You have that block for the blind and the condition cleanse there as well. So, it's still going to be good for regular Rev as well. It's not like you're going to see like, no Staff Rev. You know, Rev is, in PvP is still going to play it. In World vs. World as well, right? Okay. So, Warding Rift. This is a bit of a bop here, actually, for PvP in particular. Create a rift from the mist that blocks incoming attacks. When the rift closes, it blinds foes in front of you. Now, I think me, Angels, and Nico were a bit kind of amused that it might be a big cone, okay? Look at this effect, guys. It is a very small AoE directly in front of your character, right? And it doesn't fire out projectiles anymore. So it's going to be a lot more annoying to use, right? Effectively. Like, hitting people with that, it's not going to happen. Oh, you guys can't see. Fuck. Never mind. Hang on. Yeah. Let me look. Sometimes I forget it's there, right? Okay, here we go. Here you go. Here you go. Look, 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 look. Pow. Right, so it's going to be a point blank, small little AoE there. Okay, that's going to blind. 5 targets, to be fair. So, you know, you can maybe use this if you can blind multiple targets with it, but it's going to be a lot harder to actually land those blinds, because previously what would happen is all the little projectiles would go pew, 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 and fly out, right, and blind people. Now what's going to happen is that it's just going to be an AoE in front of you. So it's going to be, it's very much a roleplay intensifies, but I definitely say this ability is weaker. Quite an annoying ability in PvP, so probably deserved. And Rev does deserve nerfs in PvP. It is fun. But yeah, Warding Rift gets a little bit slapped. Not the end of the world, though. The best part about this ability for Revenant was, of course, the block on a short cooldown. A 12-second cooldown block, 2 seconds in duration. Really good, right? It's very, very strong. Very, very strong ability still, so I wouldn't worry about it. Does Staff 4 create 10 orbs that removes 2 conditions from 5 players? I believe so, yes. I believe it does, Gem, yes. And, yeah, that's going to be fun, right? That is going to be fun. Okay?
That's actually so much value in World v. World.
Yes, in World vs. World, that will be great, especially on heal rev as well, actually. You're going to get massive AoE heal spike from that, right? Especially Antitoxin Rune, right? Because then you remove 3 conditions from everyone, right? And then it will be that will be 15 orbs, right? If you got everyone with it. So that will be really, really powerful, potentially in World vs. World. So, anyway, that we're about to talk about that change right now. So, Renewing Wave, when this skill removes a condition, it will now give you a healing orb as well. Okay? And what does that mean? Okay, so if you hit 5 people with this, presumably you get 10 healing orbs, right? 10 healing orbs from this. Okay? And if you had Antitoxin in, that would be 15 orbs. And that's a lot of healing. If you're, honestly, even on, Power Rev in PvP, that's some value. If you're in a team fight and you cleanse, say, 2 allies and you get 6 orbs, that's pretty good, right? That's pretty good. Not that good, to be fair, but better than, it's still an improvement, of course, because it's better healing. Will you be able to get them in PvP? It's obviously a bit more difficult to get them because they spawn randomly, but still. Quite a powerful ability there. A big buff to heal rev. To be honest, like, this is already quite a good ability, Renewing Wave, but suppose in World vs. World, if you've got conditions, then bam, okay, you're going to have healing orbs, especially on heal rev. And in PvE, if there are conditions, say, on Sloth, on Desmina, bam, you cleanse everyone, and you generate loads of healing orbs. And healing orbs are very important, guys, okay? And you're going to see why soon. So let's talk about healing orbs now. So they did nerf the tablet here, and to be fair, I think they did that because they don't want you to spam it as much. They want you to be a bit careful with the positioning, but also they want to what they want to do here is I guess antitoxin. No, the rune removes it, so it wouldn't work with antitoxin. It looks like 1 orb per player. Still, even if it's 1 orb per player, that's still pretty good actually. Only 1 orb. Read the last sentence. Create a healing orb for ally that for each ally that loses conditions. Oh, okay, well, that's still pretty good, actually, to be fair. That's still really good. That's still 5 healing orbs. That's still very strong, in my opinion. Especially if you actually have healing power on it, and you have these traits. Like, traiting this stuff up is where it really gets spicy, right? Like, where you get those big traits. But we're about to see that right now, boys. All right. So they nerfed the tablet because they've added more healing elsewhere. So fair enough, right? That makes sense. And I think they want you to be careful. So salvation is really different now. Okay, it's completely different. So gone is this trait, which was this trait sucked. It was like whenever you strike an attacking foe, you blind them once every 20 seconds. Okay. Oh wow, what a fucking trait that was. Now whenever you dodge, actually wait, hang on, I think you have to be in combat. Hang on, let's go in combat. Okay. You put a healing. Where does the healing orb go? Oh, yeah, you spawn a healing orb just wherever you dodge, right? So you can dodge, and bam! There's a healing orb. This is a bit comparable to the Guardian dodge, except way worse, in a way. The Guardian dodge heals for way more. Wait, where did that orb go? I think the orb spawned directly on me there, I think. And that's why, yeah, there it is. Like, boom, pick it up. And bam, easy AoE healing. Easy AoE healing, boys. So there you go. You got some memes there. So now this trait is really buffed as well. Like the second mana trait is really hard buffed. So life achievement, you gain healing power and you gain concentration based on a portion of your healing power. So in other words, you gain 120 healing power, which is way better because previously you gain 120 toughness, right? It was oh wow, oh gee, that's great. But now when you play heal rev, you actually want to have really high boon duration anyway, right? So you play Harrier because you want boons a lot of the time. So what does this mean? It means that that 120 healing power is going to go a long way for you, and it now gets converted into boon duration as well. So you can see that I'm in full Harrier, and I've got 95% boon duration up right now. And actually, I have a mage IPs because I was really lazy. So it's actually probably would be 100% more or less if I was if I had the proper setup with a Harrier back piece as well. So that right off the bat is quite a strong one, boys. It really is quite a strong one. Great trait, way better. So, let's move on to the minor traits, because this trait is identical. Like natural stream rejuvenation, it's the same. It's 15% modifier. Boom. Okay. Next up is the actual traits themselves. So, blinding truth is the same, and we're going to talk about this trait later. This might be fun. This might be a bit fun in PvP, actually. But we'll see, actually. I think there's some cool builds that might actually see some play in PvP. Tranquil Balance, this is the same. But this one, it finally happened, guys. Vital Blessing. I have said from pretty much the start, okay, that heal rev has needed vigor access. right? And in general, Vigor is a really rare boon now in PvE. And finally we have it. And oh boy, what a trait did they go. Yo, Mathicus, thanks for the sub, dude. No, the host, sorry. So we gain Vigor. Let's check out the uptime. You guys can see the boon bar, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to auto attack and quickness. I'm just going to pick up the healing orbs. Give me those orbs. Look at these orbs. And look at that uptime, boys. Give me those orbs. Easy 100% Vigor uptime. Look at that. And I think this may even end up being 10-man Vigor uptime. Why 10-man, you say? Okay, because if other players from the other subgroup pick them up, it will go on their subgroup as well. Okay, so look at this. So here we go. I'm collecting the orbs. I've got the orbs. And look, easy 100% Vigor uptime, right? Look how free it is. Okay, so in other words, especially with Chronos, the Chronos will extend this, right? And it'll be easy. I think it will probably spread to 10-man as well. Because of just, the orbs will randomly land on players and give them 5-man Vigor in the other subgroup as well. Like, easy Vigor. And interestingly enough, it's also charging up the monk. It will charge at your monk runes really nicely as well, right? It'll be quite good for that. So yeah. Now, of course, you can also do other stuff as well. And in particular, you can provide a base. Look at all these moons you can do, guys. Look at this: protection, regen, swiftness, fury, vigor. Okay, and alacrity on five targets as well, probably ish, maybe. Okay, so this is pretty good, and you also provide a solid amount of might as well, because you can also just charge that up too, right? This is pretty fucking good, boys. Like, you can really boon people hard with this stuff, right? By going crazy. Oh, well, yeah. Also, one thing, because of Draconic Echo, you actually want to use those facets before you leave there. But yeah, I wasn't really paying attention, but. You have to be a little bit active running around collecting up the orbs, but as you can see, the boon output is really fucking strong. You know, it's actually really strong how many boons you can actually provide. And this, as you can see, this is very easily permanent here, like really easily permanent. So it's not even hard to keep the stuff up, you know, it really isn't. As you can just keep going around, auto attacking like crazy. Oh, wait, do I not have, oh, I don't have Draconic Echo, do I? Okay, never mind, lol. Okay, so you really want this trait, because you get another 2 pulses of your facets when you use them, and that makes them 10 target as well, obviously. And your regen is going to be stronger. You're going to have your regen is going to be so fucking good, dude. Like, you're going to be like 600 regen ticks. It's going to be insane, man. Oh, man, dude. Druid, you've been replaced. Druid got bopped, but not because of this. It got bopped because it doesn't actually do anything special anymore. Druid was good because it had offensive buffs. Now it doesn't have offensive buffs. In fact, this has more offensive buffs now. In fact, Rev, you can actually go ahead and play with Devastation, right? So you can have Assassin's Presence for your power classes now if you go ahead and play with this setup. So you actually buff people with Ferocity instead. It's so depressing to me that Druid has actually less buffs now than Rev. Okay, which is it's a superior healer, right? It's a superior healer. Better in every way, right? And now there's it's superior to Druid, right? Not Core Ranger, but bear in mind you actually play a Spirit Beast now, right? Okay, you play a Spirit Beast. But bear in mind, guys, Druid actually does not have the best protection uptime. Okay, it's not that good at it, and it's not that good at Vigor. This is going to be really fucking good at that. It's going to be amazing at Regen, amazing at Fury, amazing at Swiftness if you need that, and incredible at protection as well. So the boon output of this class is really, really good now. Really, really strong. Ellie does Vigor and Protection, GG easy. Well, yeah, I mean, Ellie does it too, right? Like, Ellie's really good at it as well. Honestly, this with a heal Ellie would be, like, the most insane boons ever. Or maybe, like, the Might... Yeah, I think what you would do is you would play this with Might God Ellie, right? You play this, Might God Ellie, and a Spirit Beast. That comp is really good, I think. Because you've got the Spirits with the Soul Beast. You have insane healing with the Rev and loads of boons. And then you have a Might God Ellie to give you 25 might and also extend the boons out from everything else, and that will be good. Druid has 25 might. Yeah, I mean, it has that, but it's a lot of other things can do that as well, right? Anyway, so moving on, some of this other stuff, right? So, Words of Censure. We've got some new traits here, right? We've got some new traits. Words of Censure. This new trait creates healing orbs near foes when blinding, immobilizing, or affecting them with a control effect. This trait has a 0.25 second cooldown, but can create multiple orbs if a single skill hits multiple foes with a single strike. So this is actually kind of interesting, particularly in PvP, I think, because, hey, look what we've got here. Blinding Truths. Blind nearby foes when you use a heal skill. Okay. So let's see. Let's go in. Let's use our heal skill and take Words of Censure here as well. So whenever we blind this, the golem, we get a healing orb, right? And we can spam this really hard. Look at that. We can just get constant blinds coming out from this, right? Just by spamming this really hard, which is pretty good. Okay, which is pretty damn good. So the Chrono not needed anymore. Chrono has not been needed since day 1 of raids. So yeah. Chrono has never been needed. You've always been able to play exactly how you want with the whatever classes you want. It's very important to note that. So anyway, loads of blinds. But if we also blind 2 targets, okay, we get 2 orbs with this. Okay, and if we start, let's see, if we star 5, we should probably get at least 2 orbs. We got 2 orbs, right? If it was on a bigger hitbox or if we're hitting multiple players, it would obviously be better, right? It would obviously be stronger than that. But as you can see, pretty good, right? I wonder if does weakness count as a control effect? Let's see.
No.
No, it doesn't. No. So it's wait, control effect. Blinding, immobilizing, or affecting. Okay, so yeah. Oh, affecting with crowd control. So no, it's basically blind, immob, or stun, daze, etc. Right? But wait a minute, dude. What the fuck? Wait, whoa. This with Renegade, man. What the fuck? So suppose you're in PvP, right? If you put down the daze guy and you daze 3 people, it will like spawn 3 healing orbs every second or something. I mean, that's kind of. I mean, I'm not sure that's going to be good, but it's definitely funny. I have to say, you know, I don't know. This is a cool trait, and this is an archetype that I think we need to discuss at the end, right? Anyway. So, Words of Censure, really cool trait. Resilient Spirit, though. This is where things get spicy, in my opinion. For this, almost like this bunker rev in PvP archetype, right? Especially with this trait, Unyielding Devotion here. And you just stack up all these damage with Hardening Persistence, right? Stuff like that. And you also play, you know, like Elevated Compassion. And then, I don't know, you play like Elder's Respite or maybe Rising Momentum, something like that. And maybe you play Retribution on top of that, right? With Steadfast Rejuvenation, and I don't know, fucking Dwarven Battle Training for weakness. You've got Close Quarters. You've got a lot of damage reduction here on this build. And then if you're playing, say, Heal Rev, you've also got Staff for the block, Shield for the block, loads of evades. And now, if we get in combat, guys, we're going to gain a lot of boon. If we just apply some boons to ourselves here. Okay, look at the barrier you gain every 3 seconds. You gain like 1.7k barrier every 3 seconds with this healing setup, right? Like, and more if you have protection and then you put on regen on top of that, right? Like now we're getting some boons, right? Oh, wait. It stacks up to 5 boons, right? It's 5 boons, right? So you can't go any higher than 5. So you gain a 1.7k barrier. That's like 600 health a second. Is that good? You can probably do that pretty easily as well. You can upkeep that pretty easily. Is that good? I mean, that's a good chunk of sustainability. It's like better healing signet in a way, especially because it's barrier, because it will affect you even if you're at full health, and it will help you with regen. Yo, Mighty Dog, thanks for the Twitch Prime, I do appreciate it. Nice. Could be strong, though. It definitely could be strong. It's, you know, like this kind of like Ventari, Dragon Stance, Bunker Rev. You're spamming blinds on them, or more likely you probably have Vital Blessing, actually, because you want to be able to dodge a lot more. Or you could spam blind, I guess, is a different way, right? You dodge around, you're getting healing orbs, right? You have Alacrity, so you're getting your abilities back faster for, Warding Rift, your heals more often. You've got Steadfast. So bear in mind, guys, also, we have Steadfast Rejuvenation, which is going to, let's see, if we've got 5 stacks of that, right, for all this upkeep we have going on, that's now healing us for 800 a second as well. So we've got 800 a second from Steadfast Rejuvenation. We've got Regen, which is probably healing us for about 300 a second, let's say. Okay, we've got a 1.7k barrier every 3 seconds. We've got damage reduction, okay, from Herald, 10% from our upkeep abilities. We've got 10% from Close Quarters, more endurance regeneration from Retribution there. We get stability here when we evade, which then gives us 15% damage reduction as well on top of that as well, okay? And on top of that, you've got all these blocks and evades. You've got Glint Heal. This build might be pretty tricky to actually kill in PvP. I can definitely see some bunker experimentation with this in PvP. just because like the boon output it has, it's going to have easily perma prot, perma vigor, perma regen, really good sustain on that as well. But I think what it lacks is going to be stun breaks. It's really going to struggle with getting stunned hard. I mean, if we look at this build right now, I have 1 stun break, right? I have Facet of Darkness on Herald and nothing inventory. All you can do is heal. So to be fair, I think you can use some of these abilities while stunned, if I recall correctly. So it's not as bad as you might expect, but still, it's all 5 targets. Yeah, it's all 5 targets as well. But yeah, I mean, I think Ventari could use a stun break. Maybe. What could they do? I guess they could make the Elite a stun break. I wonder if they make the Elite a stun break. That could maybe work. So you can kind of break out of that and then CC people as well. Yeah, Venice self-stun break on Legends. So, yeah, but the thing is, like, in this build, you'd be building, like, Mega Bunker, right, with Retribution for damage reduction as well. So you're really, really difficult to take down. But, yeah, just don't get stun locked. Don't get stun locked. Just use all your evades and stuff, right? You have Glint Heal, you have an Invuln, I guess. Maybe you can get away with this. We'll have to see. In PvP, maybe with Earth Rune or something like that, this could be, well, maybe not new Earth Rune. I wonder what rune you would play on this, but I can definitely see some experimentation for Rev, just making you into a bit of a bunkery boy, okay? Right, anyway, moving on. So Invoking Harmony is still the same. This will be the choice for PvE because you just get more healing. 20% more healing whenever you legend swap. It is just insane, right? It's so insane. Hand-kiting, though, you probably play Resilient Spirit. Hand-kite buffs matter.
Okay. Oh, Pog.
Yeah, big hand-kite buffs. And then finally, now it gets really interesting. Oh, I completely forgot to mention this, right? The damage reduction from this, guys, right? So Unyielding Devotion. 15% damage reduction when you heal, and 5 seconds, 2 seconds when you heal yourself, 5 seconds when you heal an ally. So you can already keep this up pretty much all the time. I wonder if regen counts for this, actually. Does this... Hang on. I don't think... Does it show the effect? It does. Okay, so regen doesn't count, that would be busted, to be fair. But in other words, you can get... Let's see how much damage reduction we can really stack up here, right? So... If we have all this stuff, so we get evade, we get stability, we have protection, we have maximum of this, we heal ourselves, we've got over 50% damage reduction there. So in other words, it was hitting us about 1.4k there at the start, and now it hits us for like 500, right? Or around 700. But I guess we have to keep healing ourselves to gain that bonus meme effect, right? So, and then we, can go up to Ventari and we can just constantly heal ourselves, right? And we just have that permanent damage reduction. You can get more damage reduction by evading, getting some stability. I don't know. I can see you being pretty fucking tanky with this sort of, like, we are getting damage reduction while you have upkeep up as well. Okay, so we've got 9% from that. We've got healing every second from Steadfast Rejuvenation. How does it affect Handkite? It just makes it way better at not being dead, actually. Where is there an icon for Glyph of Stars in your bar? Because it's a Glyph of Empowerment, boys. Oh, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Like, Bunker of PvP, thanks for these traits here. This is a good trait. Fun trait as well. I love the design on it. Like, you heal allies, you get this, you gain... you get the good stuff, right? You get some damage reduction. This trait is also really cool as well. So you've got another new Grandmaster trait as well. Generous Abundance. Whenever you use a heal skill, use any Ventari skills, you gain 3 healing orbs spawn, right? And it's 3 orbs every time you use it. Even the heal skill, by the way, guys, right? Even the fucking heal skill. Now, that... I'm not gonna lie. That is so good. I wonder if that's... I think that actually might be better in PvE than Selfless Amplification, because you're going to get so many of these orbs, right? Let's just see how many orbs we can spawn. So if we go in Ventari... Get me out of combat. Get me out of combat, boys. Hey, Tolgon. So, look, if we go here, look at these orbs. You get... Look how many fucking orbs you spawn. Look at them. Look at them. Look how many they are. And all of those are going to give Vigor and AoE healing. I don't know. I feel like 20% healing modifier is better. In PvE, it's better. This trait is probably a bit of the odd one out, really. I think if you're going to play like Bunker Rev, you're going to play something like that. If you're going to play PvE, you're almost certainly going to play Selfless Amplification. You'd probably play this for hand-kiting, right? You play Generous Abundance for hand-kiting. But, so you can pick up these little orbs and heal yourself with them, because they are pretty good. They give you vigor, they give you boons, right? But, damn, dude. The orbs are quite strong. They really are quite strong. But, yeah, cool trait. The changes to Rev are really, really interesting, right? They are really, really interesting. And I think Bunker Rev may see some play in PvP. I think it's really good. It's going to be really good at dealing with power damage, right? Which is kind of what a lot of the classes do. Like, you know, it'll be like a bit like Scrapper. But the trouble with Bunker Rev is that it will do no damage, right? You'll never be able to kill someone. You can probably decap them though. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's going to be almost like the build Rom was playing in monthly AT. It will decap you with energy expulsion and dragon wings on Herald, right? It will knock you off the point with stuff like Star 5, and it will eventually cap you. So it will need to be plussed into. So I don't know, maybe it will see something like that. We'll have to see. But I don't know, that might be a bit of a stretch, to be honest. But definitely a cool idea. Heal Herald, in my opinion, really big buffs in raids. It's going to be a lot better now. You'll probably play something like this. You probably want to play Devastation, to be honest. Like, you want to be as aggressive as possible. You could play Invocation as well if you wanted to go for Charged Mists. But to be honest, I think Devastation, just for the extra damage, is going to be pretty good. So you probably play something like you want Shared Empowerment to fill in the gaps on the Might. Then Draconic Echo for 10 target facets. That's really good. And honestly, World versus World might see some play as well, to be frank. Again, with Ventari Dragon for boon output in full Minstrel, I would imagine. For that, again, you'll probably play something very similar to the PvE setup here as well. And it's, yeah, you'll probably play this, to be frank. Heal Herald is really boring to play. Maybe the Orb game is going to make it a bit more fun. It certainly, I think the Orb game will make it a bit more entertaining. But either way, it's kind of just, oof. Yeah, it's not... I don't really like the build. I find it a bit clunky. I don't really find it that entertaining to play, but it's definitely good now. It's definitely good, to be honest, dude. So, okay, I'll just briefly talk about Heal Renegade. This is something that I believe has been buffed quite considerably this patch. One of the things that Heal Renegade really lacked was Vigor, especially in like mid-tier groups. You really want the Vigor there as well. Now, what this does take away is regen in Salvation, which actually kind of sucks. You aren't going to have regen there. So what I actually think you do is, I don't think you play Heal Renegade, to be frank. I actually think you only play Heal Herald. If you play Renegade for Alacrity, you actually play the power build. You play the Diviner build here. So I actually don't think you play Heal... You don't play Heal Renegade. I think you actually play DPS Hybrid Renegade, right, with the Shiro memes, right? You still heal, of course, with your Soul Cleave Summit, so you still have that going for you. But I probably wouldn't play Heal Renegade. I'd play DPS Renegade, to be honest. And then healing, you can either not play a healer and just try and sustain off this stuff, which is what a lot of high-end groups do. Or you could play something like a Heal Firebrand. That would probably be a better alternative. So, yeah, there you go. Although you could. I think Heal Renegade is fine, right? Heal Renegade, this ability is absolutely insane. Look how strong this healing is, guys. It pulses 1.3k, and that's not considering modifiers, on 5 targets. And that will overflow very nicely to the squad 10 times. That's a 13k AoE heal, right? On a fairly short cooldown as well. Yeah, regardless of this, like, Heal Renegade can work. Especially Staff buffs this quite a bit, because you don't really have regen on this build, but you do have Vigor, right? Which is nice. You are going to have Vigor on the build when you play Vital Blessing, but now that you don't have the Orbs, you don't have any AoE regen, which kind of sucks, but you can maybe get away with that. So that I don't like heal classes that don't have regen. If you don't have regen on a heal class, you're really sad, okay? Like, really fucking sad. So I would say that Heal Renegade is not too crazy, right? Not super insane. Not bad, though. Not bad at all. So Renegade, I think Heal Renegade is fine. It does lose... It's never really had regen, which kind of sucks. It does have healing, though, I guess. All right. I think that's it for Rev, pretty much. We're kind of done with Rev.